Hey there guys and gals, welcome back to Beginner C++ Programming. It's your boy nirex, and in today's video we'll be talking a little bit about initialization and array. So let me just go ahead and go here. Now, as you already know, and as I've already told you, these guys are variables, okay? Variables are little boxes. They are like little boxes. They're not like literally real boxes. They represent real boxes or things like real boxes that have names, types, and a value. Okay, so it could be anything. Let's say 10. So the type could be something like apple. The name could be box number 2, for instance. So box number 2 is a box of apples which has 10 apples in it. Okay, you all remember this, easy peasy lemon squeezy. This was a simple variable, and when we want to write it in code, all we have to do is just do something like this. So int I equals 2. Alright, now if I was to give you an intuition into how exactly this is written, it could be said that type name equals value or initial value. Alright, this is one thing. Alright, so initial value and semicolon. Now this was a simple variable. Now let's talk a little bit about initialization. So this guy right here is called the initial value. You are allowed to not put it there if you don't want to. So this whole thing right here is optional, okay? In the world of, well, in the real world, not the computer world, this guy right here, the brackets, they're known for representing something that's absolutely optional. So whenever you see something here, between the two of these guys, it means that that thing is optional. But in the world of, in the real world, not in the computer world. But right now, I'm just putting it here just to represent that this guy right here is optional. So you're allowed not to put it. It's a good idea to always initialize your variables. Well, almost always. There are cases where you don't want them initialized, but there are a lot of cases where you do want them initialized. And, more often than not, you really want these guys initialized. And that's basically what initialization is. So you put an equal and then a value, and that's it. You've initialized your variable. Now the problem with not initializing your variables is actually quite simple. If I was to say int c, and if I was to say c equals I plus 2, then there will be an issue. You may not see an error here, but if I try to build my application, you can see that there will be an error right here, right now. As you can see, there were build errors. So what's the error? Uninitialized local variable I used. So I haven't initialized it, it doesn't have a value, but I'm using it. Well, it actually does have some value, but it's junk value. It's not 0, okay? Don't make that mistake. If somebody asks you what this value is right now inside this guy, it's junk. It's random junk. I will show you exactly, how you can see this guy right here within your code, how you can use this in your code without initializing it. But for now, let's just say that there's just junk in it. And if I was to show you, to prove it, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, so if I was to show you, I can just simply say, run that guy. There's a breakpoint here. I will talk about that in another video, not just yet. In the debugger, we'll go over that. And if I was to look at I here, I can see that there's a random junk value minus 85 something. So that random junk value is the exact value of current, it's the current value of I. And it's considered as junk because we haven't initialized it, and it's obviously random. It's absolutely garbage. We don't really use that. Anyhow, so that was a simple variable and the initialization part. Okay, so now you know how to make a variable and how to initialize it, and I always suggest you do that because more often than not you do want your variables initialized. Now let's talk a little bit about arrays. So right now you already know exactly what a variable is, right? And I'm just going to write var for short. Now let's talk about a pointer. So pointer. Let's talk about the array. They're very close, subjects, so that's why. Now, array, if you take this thing into consideration as a box, array will be a truck of boxes, okay? So if this guy right here is a single box, then this guy right here will be a sequence of boxes, a truck of boxes. All right, there are a couple of boxes in the truck. I'm just gonna write, just draw them like this because I don't want to, confuse you more than I have to. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So there are 8 boxes in this truck, right? Now, just like variables have a name, okay, and a type, arrays also have a name and a type. Okay, so instead of holding one value, they can hold multiple values, but the name is not for each value. Okay, if I put a name here, it doesn't mean it's a name of this last one or this first one or any of them. It's a name of this whole pack. Okay, this whole batch has a single name, and this is the name. This whole batch also has a single type, and this is the type. They all have the same type. They all share the same type. Now, there's another thing, which is the number of boxes. Now, we will talk a lot more about this in dynamic memory allocation. For now, we just, assume that there is a thing here called the number of boxes. It's really not, but we will assume that it is. Okay? So, this is basically an array, and this is as hard as it gets. It's not any, it's just as simple as that. Okay, that's what I meant by it's as hard as it gets. There's nothing to get to. It's not too complicated. It's just that. Now, an array has these little boxes, okay? But these boxes, they don't have a name. Okay, let's just omit that name. They don't really have a name. Bad guy, So they don't really have a name. What they have instead of a name is a number, and we call that number an index. So instead of a name, they have indices like this: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now these guys right here are called the index, right? And you access this box, this variable here, through that index. Okay, so you need that index in order to access this guy right here. Now, you may have already seen, tons and tons of memes about programming in computer, like counting starts from 0. All right, like everybody thinks that, every programmer is like pissed off when they start counting from 1 and they're like all count from 0. This is the case where they do it. Okay, so in arrays, we always count from 0. I don't care if the number of boxes is 8, because that's just a number of boxes. If we count them in real numbers, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But if I want to access the first box, I have to access it with index 0. If I want to access the second box, I have to access it with index 1. And this is basically how it works. So in an array, there are a number of boxes. Each box has an index. Each box has an index. The whole array has a name and a type, and that's it. Now let's get into the code and see exactly how we do it. So before I write the comment, before I give you the intuition, let's just make an array real quick. So I want the type of my array to be an int. Okay, so we're already done with the type. Okay, so as we all know, type comes in first, right? I want the name of my array to be R. Now, obviously the name comes first. Second. Now, here's the thing with arrays. We want to give the array the number of elements it should have. Okay? Unlike int, which is just a single box, this guy can hold as many boxes as you want it to hold. So now we have to use this symbol here, this bracket symbol, and then inside this guy, we should tell the array how many boxes we want it to have. And this is how we make an array. So number of elements comes here, and it's just one thing. All right, name type, number of elements, and that's basically it. So this is a simple representation of an array with 10 boxes, starting from 0 going to 9. But here's the thing. It doesn't really have an equation sign. Okay, and here's the thing with arrays. I can't really say something like r equals 2. It's an int. This guy's an int too. But I can't really do that. It's an issue. If I hover over this, it says expression must be a modifiable L value. what it's saying in human language, it means that you can't really use this guy in the left side of an equation sign or equation operator. So what this basically means is that this whole thing, this whole guy right here, can't be set to something else. Okay, it's impossible. You can't really set this whole guy to be equal to something else. You have to start setting these little guys right here to be equal to something else. Okay. Now, how do we do that? Well, the first way to do it is with the initialization and the initial value. Why? Oh yeah, there we go. So, unlike here, when I want to initialize my array, it's not really wise to do this, okay? It doesn't work. Initialization with curly braces expected for aggregate objects. Now, what it's saying is, I need this. It's just telling you, you know, dude, come on, use this motherfucker right here. I don't even know that. I don't even know what this is. I need this guy right here, and that's basically what it's saying. Now, how do we do it? Well, it's as simple as just putting two of these guys and how many numbers we want. You know, whatever numbers we want right there. Let me just fix that. It shouldn't be like that. It should always be like this. And this is basically how we initialize our array. Now, if I was to show you the array, let me just write R here. It has 0 to 50, and then all of those other guys are zeros. You know, all the other small little boxes inside our big array, they're all, you know, equal to 0. Now, the reason to that is we gave 3 elements for this guy to initialize, right? So that definitely doesn't work. Now, what if I want to initialize? What if I don't want to initialize it? What if I want to give it a number after it? So let's get into how we can actually give it numbers. Okay, so let me just complete this guy right here. Number of elements equals, and this is the optional one, equals this guy, value, like that. And that's basically how we make an array. Let me actually take this off, you know, just to not get you confused. And that's better. And this is basically how you make a simple array and you initialize it with this. But you don't really always initialize arrays. Unlike these guys, you don't really, you know, initialize with these guys. Okay, you don't use that type of initialization. You use other types of initialization. Now, how do we access this guy? So we want to initialize it. Okay, we want to initialize, for instance, this value or this value. The way we do that is quite simple. We just type the name, and right after the name, we use these guys again and the index of the box that we want. So 4 means the 5th element. So 0, the 0th element, which is the first, 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is the 5th element. Okay, so it's right here. 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5th element. Now here's the thing with arrays. If I put 10 in here, I'm indicating the number of the array, number of the boxes in my array. So when I put 8 there, it means I want 8 boxes. Okay, I want 8 variables to be in this array. But when I put something here, when I want to access that variable, it's referring to the index of that number. It might be a bit confusing, but don't worry, you'll get the hang of it. It'll become just second nature with enough practice. Now, with this, I can actually change the value of this guy right here. So instead of just doing something like this, which is impossible, or being an idiot and, you know, doing it like this, I want the 4th number or the 5th one to be equal to that. So instead of being an idiot and doing it like this, because it's, you know, what if your array had like a million boxes, had a million variables in it? What if that was the case? Now you wanted to do the center center variable. You wanted to change the value of that variable. You can't really do it like this. It's just stupid. So the way you do it is with this guy, you know, index. You give it an index, you set a value to it, and that's it. And you can also use it just like that. R4 plus 2, something like that. And it, again, if we evaluate it, whatever is in R4, which is 10, will be put into here. And there we go. So arrays, let's actually, answer the question you may have. Why do these guys even exist? Okay, we can just use 10 variables. And that's exactly why they exist. They exist because people don't want you to use like 100 variables for a problem you might have, okay, or 200 variables, or who knows how many variables, okay? When we get to dynamic memory, this actually gets to be a variable. If I try to put it here right now, there's going to be an issue. Expression must be a constant value. Now, I is not constant. I can do I++, right? I can add one to it, and it's not going to work. Now, the reason to that is, it's not dynamic. We got to make it dynamic soon, not just yet. So, and that's basically what I'm saying. What if this was dynamic? Who knows how many variables we would have, okay? So that is the reason why arrays exist. They're simple, they're easy, they're just amazing. And yeah, that's basically it. So there are some questions that you might have, like why this guy is an issue, okay? This guy right here. Or what exactly is the nature of an array. And don't worry about it at all. I will explain them in another video later on. Not just yet. I don't want to confuse you more than I already have. And that's basically it with arrays. They're just a list or a sequence of variables with each variable having its own index. And indices start from 0. Okay, so index starts from 0, goes to length minus 1. And that's basically it. So this was the arrays and the initialization, which is this guy. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, maybe leave a comment. It would really help a lot. If you really enjoyed this video, then consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you very much. See you in the next one.